Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome in. I'm Matt Stryker, and I've got our Yankees latest. All right, let's turn up the tunes and listen to some jazz music. Talks of a trade involving Jazz Chisholm have come up, and I ask you this, comment down below, why trade Jazz Chisholm? He's a top-ranked second baseman. Granted, he's hit higher than 256 only once in his 5-season career, but double-digit steals in 4 of his 5 seasons, a 40 campaign and a 31 in there, double-digit home runs, including 30 this past year. That's 30-30. That used to mean something. He led second baseman in home runs last year and was second only to our own Jose Caballero in steals. I understand that Jazz Chisholm's value is arguably higher than it's ever been, but to me, the only swap that makes sense has been taken off the table, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So tell me, how would you make this work? Are you adding Bo Bichette? Do you think Ahmed Rosario and Cabrera are the solution? And by the way, I read the comments. I apologize. I made a mistake yesterday. I said Peraza. I meant Cabrera. I've got 6 brain cells left. 4 of them are working, so I apologize. I like Jazz. And I don't see a better option at second base, which is why I don't think that the trade would be a smart one for the Yankees unless it's something where we can bring back an absolute haul. And let's talk about what the possibility was, and it was Ketel Marte, but he has since put the kibosh, so no parte for Ketel Marte. He listed the Yanks on his no-trade list, and that's fine. So now what? Well, I'll tell you what. Look, if your concern is shortstop, outfield, or third base, sign Luis Arraez. You can move Jazz to any of the 3 positions I just mentioned. Arraez plays first, second, and third. He's an affordable option that can fill so many holes. He was last paid $14 million through arbitration from San Diego, so that kind of gives you the ballpark. He's a career .317 hitter. In this day and age where guys strike out so much, there's this great stat about how many times Tony Gwynn has struck out with 2 strikes on him versus how many times everyone else has ever struck out ever. It's just ridiculous how much guys are striking out. Arraez is a career .317 hitter, and he also stole a career high 11 bags last year. I think a guy like Luis Arraez is a perfect complement to the top portion of our lineup. He's got contact rate, pitch recognition, his OBP, his on-base percentage are all elite. I know it's another lefty bat, so with that said, we can start to look at other options. But overall, if this is where we are, then Luis Arraez would be a wonderful, at the very least, just knock on his agent's door and see what's up. If you don't like the lefty bat, then you might want to ask me what I'm smoking on this next one, but just give me a second. Let me take 2 and pass and hear me out, all right? Right-handed hitting outfielder Brenton Doyle's name has come up. Brenton Doyle, part of the Colorado Rockies. And like many Rockies, Doyle owns unsightly career splits along with his splash line. Unsightly career splits along his slash line. Whoo! What's the 2 and pass? Away from Coors, right? But he does have some power. But when Colorado takes the call on Doyle, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't ask about guys like Jordan Beck, their closers Victor Vodnik, or even Zach Veen. Now, Beck had double-digit homers last year. He's a 24-year-old right-handed bat. He was taken in the first round of the 2022 draft. Veen is also 24. I don't think they'll part with him. He was taken, I think, 9th in 2020, but he's a left-handed bat that also projects to have a very high upside. And then for the bullpen is Victor Vodnik, who's only 26 years old, right-handed relief pitcher. Where are we going to get all that anywhere else? I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's all fodder anywhere, but it's worth putting it out there into the universe to keep with the whole Zen Colorado thing, man. But either way, these are just some of the outside-the-box thoughts that the Yanks need to have. Another thought that the Yanks need to have is addressing the bullpen. While I understand that Bednar and Doval and Yarbrough are nice, the hand's being forced here. And I want to make a case for Pete Fairbanks. In the last 3 seasons, Fairbanks has had 20 or more saves. He knows the AL East very well from his tenure with Tampa, alliteration aside. There are concerns, but then again, look, we waited for Diaz. We waited for Suarez. Rogers was signed by Toronto. I mean, everyone else gets signed, so you're going to have to just kind of take what's out there. It's either Fairbanks or Luke Weaver. And I understand Fairbanks' strikeout rate dropped quite a bit from 34% to 27%. His velocity once touched 99 comfortably, and it sat closer to 97 this past season. Hitters generated a 338 expected WOBA against him. That's his worst since 2020. And his slider has lost nearly an inch of sweep. So the surface numbers, none of it looked like the version of Fairbanks that was just lights out in 2022 through 2024. Couple that with the fact that the Tampa Rays were a pitching factory. They built Fairbanks into the pitcher he is. This is the team that declined to pick up the option this winter instead of even trying to flip him for prospects. That's scary. But we have found out there's a reason. So Pete Fairbanks has something called Raynaud's syndrome. You can look it up. It's like a vein vascular condition that restricts blood flow in cold weather, and it can cause finger numbness. You'll see this a lot in older people as well, sometimes diabetics. So early in the season or in cold parks, the feel for Fairbanks' slider can disappear in real time. His command gets very shaky, and the entire shape of his arsenal shifts because he doesn't have that slider anymore. And the splits have shown it for years, and it's one reason why warmer weather clubs or domed ballparks see more upside in Fairbanks than risk. And enter in our rival, the Toronto Blue Jays. They've been in on him, and they need strikeouts. And last year, their bullpen really unraveled. The dome is a selling point in this case. Look, I don't think Pete Fairbanks is the safest reliever left in free agency, but he remains the one with the widest split, the largest chasm between floor and ceiling. And in a winter where market for late inning help has seemingly dried up very quickly, the ceiling is exactly what teams are paying for. And right now, the Yankee bullpen has no roof. Forget a floor or a ceiling. And I don't know how the weather is where you're watching, but here in New York, it is snowing and cold. So let's look to the ceiling of Pete Fairbanks. Try to shore up this bullpen and make the run at Bellinger, make the run at Tucker. But if not, go forward with the team the best way you can and try to compete for the division because it's going to be tough. I'm Matt Stryker. I'll be here with us every step of the way. I'll see you next time on the Yankees Latest.